Hey. Bro, that's kind of dead. Okay. Let me see it. My name is Alex.
Henry.
Curtis Silva.
Today we will be comparing two historical figures, Charlie Kirk and King Von. To start off, Charlie Kirk. Charles James Kirk, also known as Charlie Kirk, also known as Charlie Crank, was born on October 14th, 1993. He passed away September 10th in Utah, 2025. He was an American right-wing political activist, entrepreneur, and media personality. He co-founded TPUSA, Turning Point USA. He was friends with other figures like Candace Owens and Kanye Owens. And Kanye, also known as Ye West, but no more West. He took that off.
Yes.
I'm white Kanye West. Now,
He's white.
Kirk was opposed to abortion, gun control, DEI programs, and LGBTQ rights. Allegedly, I'm reading this off of Wikipedia. He had controversial opinions about the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and Martin Luther King Jr. So yeah, he was pro-Israel, pro-Zionism. People think he might have got nerfed or murked because of his
Opposition to Netanyahu.
In August 2025, he said, "I have a bulletproof resume showing my defense of Israel. I believe in the scriptural land rights given."
That's absolutely fair. I think you dodged a bullet.
Oh my god. Oh, bro, I have to put this on my secondary channel. During a 2019 visit to Jerusalem, he told an audience, "I'm very pro-Israel, and my whole life I have defended Israel." The Jerusalem Post reported that Kirk had sent a letter to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warning that the country was losing the information war among young Americans. Now, this is interesting. Let's talk about King Von.
Davon Daquan Bennett, better known as King Von, is an American rapper, street gangster, and serial killer from Chicago, Illinois, affiliated with the Black Disciples gang of Chicago's South Side, located in the infamous O Block region.
He's a serial
O Block.
He was considered a prominent figure in the drill genre of music, a subcategory of hip-hop.
He gained recognition for his storytelling and distinctive lyricism, which often drew from his own experiences, most notably on his 2018 single, Crazy Story, and his 2020 single, Took Her to the O, both of which received triple platinum certifications from the Recording Industry Association of America.
I think some crucial background we got to go about this guy was that he has engaged in combat numerous times, which, as we might be discussing here, might be a leg up against our other competitor, Charles Kirk. So, for one thing, in April 2014, he was questioned by police as a person of interest in the fatal shooting of 17-year-old Gukira K.I. Barnes, who was a gangster disciple. Another conflict he got into was in May 2019, when Bennett and a guy named Lil Durk was arrested in a connection with the shooting in Florida. Prosecutors claimed that the two rappers shot Alexander Witherspoon outside a popular drive-in on February 5th, 2019. On November 6, 2020, he was fatally shot in Atlanta, Georgia at the age of 26, following an altercation outside a hookah lounge.
This is the segment of the video where we want to talk about the hypothetical confrontation. As we know, King Von is stationed in O Block, Chicago. Even though he can afford to live anywhere, he does it for the gang.
Well, I think it's a gang affiliation. It's a gang affiliation.
It's a gang affiliation.
He could easily move out.
Lifestyle.
Yeah, he could easily move out.
You know, in the Ottoman Empire, when the Sultan was in charge, they didn't have anything so that they couldn't officiate the person they wanted to be heir. They couldn't really codify that in law. So instead of saying hey, this son will be my heir, it was set unofficially by having the heir closest to the capital, so that when the Sultan dies, the preferred heir is the first to hear it, and therefore can make his way to the capital first and then proclaim himself Sultan. I think this is the deal with King Von.
Of course.
He was close to the leadership of the Black Disciples.
O Block.
In the O Block.
Yes, in O Block.
Sorry, I'm gentrified.
Because of his lifestyle and the love of the game, he decided to reside in Old Block. Old Block is a neighborhood in
Chicago, South
Chicago.
Side.
I do think there is a possibility they would interact. Now,
How do you think of that?
Charlie Kirk was known for hosting Turning Point USA events across the country, but he also liked to visit college to debate college students. There are probably colleges, many of them in that area, especially in Chicago. It's a very heavy megalopolis area. You know, it's near the Great Lake. Somehow, Charlie Kirk makes himself an op to King Von, saying he calls out the black disciples, saying, because he did talk about gang violence.
If King Von had lived on beyond his death, it's safe to say that King Von would have continued his gangster serial killer type lifestyle, which would have gained traction and infamy, probably for Charlie Kirk to notice and start calling out that group in particular when he visits a Chicago college, seeing that King Von probably is not going to take big kindly to.
Let's say he does call out the black disciples just for the meaning of hypothesis. Ruffles up King Von's feathers. King Von also ruffles up Charlie Kirk's feathers. From his Christian background, he will not approve of the music.
I think something we should be looking at here is these two are media personalities. So there's a very likely chance, had the two of them have been able to continue on with their lives, somehow Charlie Kirk does not get assassinated and King Von does not get shot.
Or arrested.
Or arrested, and we could probably assume that egos could probably be very, insulting an ego could be very high. There's a very real chance they could have butted heads, especially when they're trying to inflame tensions. We know that both of them are very aggressive in their media portrayals. King Von in his music, and Charlie Kirk in some of his rhetoric, political rhetoric. So I'm just saying, there's a very real chance.
Yeah, and I want to back that up.
You're not, but whatever. Sorry.
Curtis Silva, you got shot in a taxi cab. Okay. I'm sorry. Resuscitated. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to back that up.
No, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to back that
His
up.
mom Dottie and the
I did not
Gambinos.
mean to back that up.
I'm so sorry.
I did not mean to bring up his incident in the taxi cab.
Well, let's get the shit out of it.
Charlie Kirk is a big lover of coffee. He liked that girly Starbucks shit. And no, he'd go to Starbucks with Candace, they'd order the coffee,
Mint Majesty tea?
They'd walk like twins. And Charlie Kirk loved that Mint Majesty tea, which, I'm sorry, it tastes like crap, no shade to him, but it just does. He liked that shit with 2 pumps of honey. So, let's say Charlie Kirk goes to Starbucks, he gets his tea. Now, King Von, he's driving by, all good, looks over, who does he see in that Starbucks?
Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk
with his tea.
Oh
now,
my God.
King Von was driven by passion and impulse. He sees an op who he's butt heads with. He started to butt heads with online. He sees him in a Starbucks. What do you think King Von's gonna do? King Von's not leaving it alone.
In an instant, the arena forms, and now they are the Pokemon. They are the Pokemon competitors, and now they are in the stage of which they're going to be fighting this random Starbucks in Chicago.
They are on the streets, the public streets of Chicago, the downtown metro of Chicago.
I don't know. Well, I think that's a very good chance. By the way, my berets, they guard the metros in New York City. I just wanted to espouse that. So I'm just saying there's historical precedent for this. And this is true. I was shot in a taxi by the Gambinos.
He was shot in a taxi.
God
damn it, Silva! Get yourself together.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You need a glass of water.
No, okay.
Anyways,
Okay.
this Curtis Silva PTSD shit is a lot to manage. I'm sorry, guys.
You don't know what else will be a lot to manage? This matchup.
Now,
Charlie Kirk and
let's get into the matchup. We have a man coming from a Christian background, went to Liberty University. We have King Von.
He dropped out of Liberty University.
He dropped.
You're scared of the woke mind
the entire
virus.
shit started because he started calling college woke shit.
Scam.
Dropped out to start his own organization.
Charlie Kirk is heavier and taller, but he does not have hands. Let's just say
He
he has no
not
hands.
have it. Charlie Kirk, well, we know he was kind of well built.
King Von is a little shorter
I
and
believe-
lighter than Charlie Kirk, but I will say
think
he has hands.
I would say, despite that, he'll probably be able to, lifting strength, that might go to Kirk, but King Von really know how to
It's King
fight.
Von. It's King Von.
He has a lot of power as regards to like just. Charlie Kirk could probably put on a few pounds to like suppress, like have that hold on him. But King Von might be able to get out a few pressure
He's a little
points.
faster.
Pressure points that Charlie Kirk
And more aggressive.
Now,
Yeah, speaking about speed, yes.
speed. When texting Candace Owens about Nicki Minaj and how he pumps that Mickey, as he said in 2018 text next, he said that he likes to listen to her when he goes to run. So safe to assume Charlie Kirk is at least something. If like
he's athletic. He's
agile. He's agile. He goes for runs. Now King Von is different. He probably didn't run for fun. He ran for necessity. You know how often you have in the O Block running away from op, running to an op, running like from, and there are more mortals that.
This dude is facing off against all of the GTA police, 5 stars every single time he commits these murders, or allegedly. We do not know.
Also,
I think stamina wise, that might go to Charlie Kirk, who's ran for athleticism, but straight up speed
goes to King
I'd
Von.
say that's easily King Von. You'd think Charlie Kirk, because you look at King Von like, oh, like, that's a gangster. He probably didn't go to school. He probably dropped out. And that may be true, but the thing about Charlie Kirk, he dropped out of university and he spent his entire career, Turning Point USA, being an anti-intellectual, trying to convince kids that university is woke, it was socialist, and you need to drop out immediately and join conservative movements, like whatever shit he did. Well, maybe King Von was less intelligent. Charlie Kirk is actively anti-intellectual. It was like what Trump said. He loves the he said that he loves the poorly educated.
He loves the poorly educated.
And that goes for King Von. That's who he grifted to.
That's true.
That's who he tried to go and support by.
I think we were starting to get into battle prowess a little bit, or like battle IQ.
Yeah, battle IQ. That's what I meant.
I'm thinking there's something to be said about what they use. There's some commonalities that they use. One, they're really big on intimidation, just in different manners. King Von, he gets into a lot more physical confrontations, and so obviously he needs to be striking fast. He needs to be striking to make sure that like he has to get the upper hand immediately. He needs just rapid domination. And we've seen this in 1918 in World War I, where the Germans used stormtrooper tactics to break through enemy lines in France and almost break into Paris. Unfortunately, that was not able to do that because...
Unfortunately... See, World War I is a bit more subjective. World War I is a bit more subjective. We're not going to be opening that entire can of worms.
You know what they say about lions led by donkeys?
Of course.
Charlie Kirk is that physical donkey.
Yes.
We might think he is intelligent, at the very least, to put himself behind those lines. After all, he's organizing an entire movement. Meanwhile, in King Von, we don't even know what kind of group he's like leading. We don't even know if he's like a grunt. We don't know if he's a grunt or like a leading member of the Black Disciples.
Yeah.
So I think that King Von might have a lot more tactical prowess just on pure victory.
Yeah.
But I think just having the logistics to organize, but leadership and organization and logistics, I think Charlie Kirk can have a pretty good chance.
I'd like to add on to that. I'd like to say this. If Charlie Kirk and King Von were both generals, and Charlie Kirk's army were all the followers of TPUSA, and King Von's army were the Black Disciples, heck, I'll even give them the entire neighborhood of O Block. The children, the 8-year-olds, and the grandmas of an O Block. Of course, Charlie Kirk has a higher number, but then we gotta consider King Von's freaking fans that are listening to his music, right? So it's a whole mess. Also, who has more arms? They probably both have arms. Charlie Kirk is pro-guns, King Von has guns. So that's the hardest part.
Charlie might have a larger force that is more diluted, because you have as many people as possible. You have to be a lot more general in the sense of like the American political consensus. You need to be a lot more general in order to appeal to the masses, and then you can get more. The more you get specific, that's where you find your leadership. Meanwhile,
like your niche,
yeah,
that's how it's
King Von is a very King Von and the Black Disciples are a very niche group, but we can assume that this is a small group of professionals because they know what they're doing, they know what they're getting into when they're working with the Black Disciples, and probably when they're working with or along King Von. So I think there's a very good chance to say that Charlie Kirk has strength in numbers, while I think that King Von could have like a lot more tactical maneuvering with his dedicated group of black disciples.
Yeah, so
That's his bad.
So, if counting Charlie Kirk's assets, he did make some considerable money. Of course, Eric Kirk has more money because of, he got popped and
yes. Profit.
she's now doing WWE intros. But
insane.
Charlie Kirk, he had some sizable money. It's about like the same as, let's say, probably an average U.S. politician that takes a bit of money from Israel. And Charlie Kirk, he did get that Israel money. Israel was giving him money. We should count his AIPAC money, AIPAC money, when we consider assets.
That can't be though.
King Von had like the direct money, like that shit in his bank account from music production, from robbing people, from houses he owned. He gave his mama a mansion that he bought with cash, apparently, so.
We've also established that Charlie Kirk has a lot more resources backing him, and there has to be some kind of intellect or strategy there to be able to organize a massive group that like has an agenda behind it, compared to the black disciples who are just more self-interested in not trying to appeal not trying to appeal to others, but trying to appeal to themselves, like just trying to get what they need.
Then I think Charlie Kirk does have a slight edge, even just a bigger edge over King Von, counting all his donators, counting all the organizations he got tied to and collaborated with, and just in general, if we're gonna count like all of like every different like organization that he's working with and everyone who's donating support to him, after goes to Charlie Kirk.
It's really hard to say how many assets and connections that King Von has because of all of his ops. He has probably wanted to start conflicts with many of the people in his field because he wants to be big dog, he wants to be numero uno. But I do think that he does have a lot of connections. He has won awards. I don't know if we're going to count fans. I can't really count fans as connections because it just goes out the window, right? Charlie Kirk has actual people, politicians, grifters, content creators, his own goddamn clippers, for God's sake, right? Behind his back. Israel, all of this. So that will lead us into the next segue, which I want to talk about the aftermath of who wins, the consequences. So
actually, I think we gotta discuss durability.
How many gunshots did it take to take down King Von?
So I am not actually sure.
Don't tell me what happened in that taxi. I don't want to hear.
Yeah, Trent, let's not talk about the shoot going.
Oh, whoa.
6 times.
King Von was shot 6 times.
6 times with wounds in his chest, abdomen, and back. But Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck, which is a considerably weaker spot than the torso area. It was fatal, and he was shot with a.
So they identified it as a Mauser Model 98. Oh my god, that's awesome.
Oh my god.
No, I mean, like, I don't know.
No, this guy got shot, man.
Dude, he got shot. I've been looking for this. That's not my gun. I'm not saying that. But I like this gun. This gun's pretty cool.
Who do we think is more durable? Because we know King Von got shot multiple times. We know that Charlie Kirk got shot 1 time. But again, Charlie Kirk got shot in a very bad spot.
And with a rifle, not a pistol.
And with a rifle.
So, but King Von was shot 6 times. It was with a 9mm. We don't know if they had any stopping power to it. But 6 times is.
I think it's just best to leave it up in the air. That like it's. I'm sure there's other ways.
Well. Could we say who died? Who died first? Did King Von die immediately on the street? Was he rushed to the hospital and died in the hospital? We know Charlie Kirk. He died
in the hospital.
No, he died on the spot. He wasn't even counted that skill.
Overall skill. Well, King Von has no skills, except for murder.
Charlie Kirk has the power of Agartha, on his side, as we can obviously
tell. King Von is a disciple, and Charles is successful.
He is the disciple.
Yakub.
I don't think that means we can just discredit Charlie Kirk's position into, promoting and getting people into Agartha. I think that's a lot of play here. Yes. I think that is his hacks. I don't know. I'd have a different. What do you mean? Come on, I want to hear your point then. What do you have something about Agartha? I don't want to go to
Agartha.
I don't want to go into Agartha.
Why can't we all go to Agartha?
Because you're black.
Continue.
Wow, that was a crash out. If I was Let's continue.
Well, who has better aim? King Von.
No, wait. See, Von. The community described him
As a serial
as a
killer.
demon,
And a demon.
a serial killer. He probably wasn't supernatural, but if he was able to do all that and people believing he was the devil, you have to be doing something to have people genuinely believing that you're the reincarnation of the devil. I'd say hacks-wise, Von has that.
I think.
I don't know. I think Charlie Kirk has an anti-feat there. He has been advised in the Christian doctrine and the Christian belief system.
That's true.
So he has been. I imagine he has read or like at least conversed with the Bible.
Well,
so he
well.
understands
You forgot
the
one.
skills.
You
He
forgot.
understands the skills about how to like beat the devil. I'm sure that's something in it. At some point, I just show my color.
No matter if you like him or not, you have to admit he is a theologist. He is a Christian Bible theologist.
That's not. You don't know what a theologist means.
He's a
He was
theologist.
not. He was a nationalist. There's a difference between nationalism for something and theology. You could argue.
You could argue that he is a theologist because he knows.
You do not. That's not what theology is.
That is what theology is.
That's not what being a theologist is. That means like fundamentally.
Theology
I'd
is you have an
say-
understanding of religions, right? That's what theology
And
means.
Charlie Kirk did not have an
His niece
understanding
was-
of religion. He
Yes,
drifted what he thought was his religion. He didn't really have a fundamental understanding of what was in like the Bible and what's being taught that. Again, he's just drifting his own points, as with most nationalists who do as they do.
I do want to take it back, just who has more hacks, and this is a really odd topic because this is not fiction, this is reality, right? You could say King Von's hacks is that, he can aim like the freaking bullseye, and shoot these guys and run from the cops and do a stupid bullshit, right? You could also say that Charlie Kirk knows how to read scripture. That's great. Hacks? How would that apply? I just want to bring it back before we move on to the next.
I think we just
what
gotta
kind
look
of?
I think
We're kind of just agenda posting at this point. We can't really do hacks with this.
I have one more trump card.
Okay.
In the Vietnam War, I was fighting in, I think it was Saigon. It was a terrible time. I was fighting with the South Vietnamese against the communists, and they're communists, by the way. And as I'm fighting in the streets of Saigon, I see King Von. He's like rambling everyone. I think he was a little racially motivated, but
Okay.
he is not worth. He doesn't care. This is like 30 years before he's supposed to be born. I don't know how he exists over there. So all of a sudden he stops time, and I can see him moving around because I'm Curtis Silva. I can see that stuff. And I'm able to see him, just wipe out everybody. If you guys ever seen, X-Men Days of Future Past with the Quicksilver scene, that's essentially what King Von did in that... That's essentially what King Von did in Saigon in 1975. So I want to give that edge to King Von, because he can fucking stop time. What's the thing about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
The world.
Dio Brando! Come on. By the way, this goes to Curtis Silva, not Von or Kirk. This point will go to Curtis Silva.
No. So I can see people...
You are a veteran, sir. Give me the arm wrestle challenge
Holy
right
shit.
now.
Wait, okay. Moderate. 3, 2, 1.
Oh shit.
Oh, that goes to you. Alright, what's our next category of battle? Okay,
should.
our next
No.
category is penile length.
No.
Yes, seriously.
I can comment on something here. Charlie Kirk, small dick, big balls. And I don't mean metaphorically, he was brave.
No. So, what is attack potency? Can you...
Please define it. I
Attack
actually don't
potency
know this one.
is basically how potent, how strong an attack is on someone. And well, again, I think this is gonna go to Von.
Of course, it's gonna go to Von. What are you gonna
Attack
say?
potency?
Yeah.
Attack
Alright,
potency.
I'm not too familiar with this part.
How strong an attack is. Compare.
If Charlie Kirk threw a punch...
Compare
yeah.
me punching versus if I had like a laser cannon and me shooting that
That's
off.
very potent. I definitely die to that. I think King Von has a very good advantage. Like I said, Charlie Kirk might be the donkey in the army, in the lion army. And if we're going to be continuing this metaphor. Meanwhile, King Von, he was in those trenches.
In the lion army.
He's had a very street smart understanding of the weaponry that he used. And so,
which is another point we're going to get to later on, weaponry, but this is attack bonus right now.
Yeah. So I think there's a very good chance that Pody's steady watching every day they clock it.
Yeah.
Red alert on the danger. I was like, keep that clock on. See what I mean? Charlie Kirk never said that. That was King Von. So I think
this leans into the weaponry category. There's another can of worms. This is a different category. I would say Charlie Kirk grifted Potway, but did he actually own guns, or was he able to actually shoot a gun?
I'm going to shoot.
King Von, in the hand,
Let's be
we know he was on those streets with guns. He's probably experienced in handguns, probably experienced in revolvers. Did he shoot a gun? Can he shoot a gun?
I'm gonna start swimming.
Anything.
New York Mayor
Chico.
Laura Maldani, Andrew Cuomo, and Curtis Silla.
So
Take
what
your
about me?
phone. Someone take it. I just want to say that.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, there it is.
This is retarded. Okay, let's talk about weaponry, please.
What?
Weaponry. Okay, so I do think Charlie Kirk, just because of his Christian beliefs, I do not think that he would want to have access to, freaking AK-47s, AR-15s, even though he's perfectly fine with people having them. I don't think he'd have access to Uzis and all this bullshit like King Von. King Von definitely has access, probably a collection of, guns with the serial number, off of it.
Illegal
right?
firearms.
Illegal, what is it called? Filed off. Now you can get a gun with a serial number filed off, just like Walter White did in season 4, episode 2, 38 snub. Charlie Kirk, he can't get access because his reputation would be ruined. Someone would leak that.
Wait. No, legal weaponry, but I think safe to say Charlie Kirk would be able to have access to legal weaponry.
Yeah. Okay, now for this next segment, we want to talk about respect. Who has more respect among the two? Charlie Kirk or King Von?
Something I want to describe is just kind of how their legacies are respected in a sense. One of the I think something we got to look at is how Charlie Kirk, when he was assassinated, not only was it like a big deal in the conservative circle, but then the federal government and like all its associates, because the Turning Point USA and the MAGA conservative movement are very tied together. Suddenly, Charlie Kirk's assassination is a national phenomenon. But with so many eyes on Charlie Kirk, naturally everybody's gonna have like different views about it.
You know how like the day, like the weeks so after he died, it was Civil War, no, kill the girl, blah blah. And now like his name isn't taken seriously at all on the internet and is used to make songs like Charlie Corky, I Just Popped the Porky, Charlie Corky, and other such like mock like that. So
yeah, and I think to just finish that part off, and I think that's good to do. Like Charlie Kirk is a very diluted thing where a lot of his disrespected qualities are very much put on display on the internet. Meanwhile, King Von didn't get that sort of like national recognition for him being killed. It would be probably like with shut up. That was my phone. We might see something similar to XXXTentacion, who is someone I listen to personally. He didn't really get national coverage for being murdered, and especially wasn't really like really put on a pedestal by like the general media. And I'm just putting this to King Von. So King Von had a very pure legacy because his thing was like really either very local or like regarding his fans. And then meanwhile, Kirk has had his legacy nationalized, but then that's going to be a lot more eyes on him. And there could be a lot of vocal people on the internet who've been able to... I'm just going to use Kirkify as if it's just an established thing. People just Kirkify them. So I think that's something I want to look into.
Yeah, I like what you're saying about their, comparing the legacies. I also want to add on to that. When King Von died, I'm assuming that his neighbors in the old block, in his neighborhood, were most likely relieved and not distraught. King Von was a nuisance. He was an abomination. He was a parasite. That's that. Now, I hate to insult him like this. Of course, he has accolades. You know, he has awards for his music, his tracks. Good music, by the way. I don't want to fully just discredit King Von. But King Von did have a more upsetting effect up front. Does that make sense? King Von had a worse effect up front. Now, Charlie Kirk, he definitely called for certain things that could have maybe made certain aspects of people's lives worse or better. That's up for discussion, but it is... what's the word? What's the word where it's not up for debate? It's definite. It is
Definitive.
It is definitive that King Von was more likely worse for society than Charlie Kirk. If King Von was in power, if King Von had as much influence as Charlie Kirk, shit would go down. Shit would go down. There would be no order. There would be zero order, and it would be off of emotions, right? King Von killed over emotions, over the people he beefed with, probably people who, just for no reason. I also want to say, since we're talking about respect, let's just compare two scenarios. You know, people who don't like Charlie Kirk run into Charlie Kirk in public on the street. What are they going to do? They're probably going to insult him. They're probably going to throw their drink at him. They might spit on him, even if he's with his family, with Erica Robot Kirk, right? They're probably going to, go after him and call him names. Now, King Von, if someone has an issue with King Von, they're not going to say anything. They're not going to say shit, I swear. They're not going to stand on business. Because you want to know who does stand on business? King Von, because he's a grown-ass man from O Block. Took her to the O. You're facing an armed robbery, shawty. That's what they offering. Let's go back to business.
I have no comment.
Now, finale? I think we just jumped to the finale, sir. Oh, no, unless you have something to say about
No, I
respect.
think that's it. Yes, King.
Thank you.
Okay, that's muted. Okay, so again, I'm jumping around. So on to the finale.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir. Did I hurt? That looks
No,
like...
it's fine.
Here, come
I
on.
think the
Add
Put
your
your feet
legs.
up.
Put your legs.
I don't think.
And please take off your shoes and your socks.
I'm happy.
Mm.
They argue, and it starts to escalate to a full-blown fight. First off, weapon-wise, Von obviously had this shit on him. He was strapped at all times. Charlie Kirk wasn't. If Charlie Kirk had crammed this with him, then that might have some leeway towards him.
Well, we might see some similar qualities to Batman in Prep Time with Charlie
Yeah,
Kirk.
so-
And I think there's a decent chance for that.
So
Go
let's
on.
see. If Von had a weapon, obviously going to Von. Let's say unarmed, then it's kind of a toss-up. Charlie Kirk might be built bigger, might be a little bit stronger, but Von has that fighting. Von has the experience, and I think 1v1 like that, Von brings it down. Now Charlie Kirk for his associates are Clarence Owens and Kanye West. Then it might lean towards numbers and superiority to that side. But Von, well, again, Von has the experience and the weapons to bring down pretty much anyone, much less Charlie Kirk. I think ambush-wise goes to Von, with weapons goes to Von, and hand-to-hand, I'd say goes to Von. The only way Charlie Kirk is winning is if he brings Candace Owens and West with him, or brings anyone else, because otherwise Von is just sweeping the floor with him.
Absolutely.
That's what I think. That's my viewpoint is.
With or without weapons, if it's upfront, no planning, and Von has a problem with, because Von is going to probably have a problem with Kirk, especially if he even mentions his name. If Kirk said Von's name, he's already on his hit list. Yeah, he's with or without a weapon, he's sweeping the floor with him. He absolutely wins. With or without Candace and Kanye, by the way. If they're not going to be armed in a Starbucks in Chicago, right? Charlie Kirk also probably isn't prone to violence. He probably, meaning he's not going to act.
He loves to support violence, but
Yeah.
violence with him.
He doesn't know how to act on violence as long as I know. Now, if Vaughn, faced other people who were more active, let's say, I don't know, John F. Kennedy, then it would be, a Cuphead fight.
It's a Gambino.
It's not about the Gambino. Help me, I'm not that Gambino.
Come with me. I'm going to shoot this Gambino in the head.
Hello. Hey, Cole, this is for you.
Curtis Silva.
This is Zora Mamdani speaking.
Zora Mamdani? Oh my God, hey, congratulations on the election, man. Man, that Cuomo guy, woof, he farted.
I was just calling to let you know that you are banned from wearing jewelry of any kind in all 5 boroughs of New York for the bullshit that you said to me on the debate.
What the fuck? From you? I got shot in the back of a taxi by the Gambinos. I got poisoned. I was in the trenches. Like, actually, I fought in the First World War. You'd know that, alright? I don't want this shit from you, Mamdani. What do you want to say? What do you want to tell me about?
Tell me, Curtis Silva, what were your plans with New York if you were going to win the election?
Well, I'll tell you this. Firstly, I was going to give $50 billion to myself and the Guardian Angels so that every child will become a Guardian Angel and every child will guard the subway. We could also guard the subways in Berlin and in London. We could even do some in Paris because we're an international organization. Unlike you only care about New York City. I care about the world, all right? More on Zamdani. Jesus. I'd also get myself, probably take revenge against the Gambinos.
Would you help me commit grand larceny?
Oh, shit, you could have just started with that. My name is...
You got shot in a taxi cab, by the way, with Bozo.
Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. The conclusion is that King Fawn wins. And I gained the autism sword.